Subtracting, again, we work left to right, right to left. So 2 minus 11 can't be done, so we're going to borrow from the 8. That becomes 7 feet. We borrowed 12 inches, so this becomes 14 inches. 14 minus 11 is 3 inches. 7 feet minus 3 feet is 4 feet. So we get 4 feet 3 inches there. For number 2, we are multiplying. 5 times 10 and a half is 52 and 1/2. Now you may have to do that off to the side to multiply that out, but you come up with 52 and a half. Now that is more than a foot. It's more than several feet. In fact, it's 4 feet. 4 feet would be 48 inches, which means there's 4.5 inches left. So we keep the 4.5 inches, and we'll carry the 4 feet. Well, 5 times the original 4 feet is 20 feet, plus 4 that we carried is 24 feet. 24 feet, 4.5 inches. For number 3, it's usually easiest if we rewrite it as long division, like this. 9 goes into 29 3 times. So we're going to call that 3 feet. 3 feet times 9 is 27 feet. We subtract, we've got 2 feet. Before I can bring down the 3 inches, I have to turn that 2 feet into 24 inches. Now I can bring down the 3 with the 24 to get 27 inches. 9 goes into 27 3 times, that's 3 inches. So if I have something 29 feet 3 inches long, and I am cutting it into 9 equal pieces, each piece will be 3 feet 3 inches long. Number 4 over here. We start with our inches. 11 plus 8 is 19 inches. Well, that is 1 foot, so I'm going to carry the 1 foot. I don't have room to write it off the side here, so I'll just carry it up. 19 minus 12 is 7 inches left over. So I have 1, 2, and 1, that's 4 feet. Well, that is 1 yard with 1 foot left over. So I keep the 1 foot, and I'll carry the 1 yard. 1 and 5 is 6, plus 3 is 9 yards. 9 yards, 1 foot, 7 inches. Anybody have all 4 of those correct? How many of you would have had them if I gave you more time? How many of you are totally lost and want to cry? Oh, there's no hands there at least. That's a good thing. Sensing a little apathy here this morning, so I'll try to make it a little more exciting for you if I can. Okay, so yesterday we looked at that example where we multiplied some dual units, where we had, well, I don't remember the exact units, but let's do like 3 feet, 6 inches times 1 foot 3 inches, something like that. And when we multiplied it, we had 2 choices. We didn't want to stay with the dual units. We either wanted to convert it all into inches or all into feet. For the all inches, we did 3 times 12 is 36. I'll write it over here. 3 times 12 is 36. 36 plus the 6 is 42 inches. For the 1 foot 3 inches, same thing. 1 times 12 is 12. Added to the 3 is 15 inches. You multiply that out, I believe that's 630 square inches. Let me double check. It is. So we got 630 square inches. If I wanted to convert it all into feet, remember there's 12 inches in a foot, so 6 inches becomes 6/12 of a foot. 3 and 6/12 are 3.5 feet. 1 foot 3 inches is 1 3/12 of a foot, or 1 1/4 feet. So when I multiply that out, 3.5 times 1.25, we get 4.375. And that is square feet. And we saw that if we went to convert that into inches, we just did times 12. We did not get our 630 square inches. We had to do times 12 a second time to get there. Well, why is that? Well, let's take a peek. .375 square feet. We'll put it over 1. If I go to do my conversion factor, I put feet on bottom, inches on top. 1 foot is 12 inches. However, this is not feet. It is square feet. Square feet, remember, came from doing feet times feet. So our conversion factor here with feet on bottom is only going to cancel out one of those. Technically, I would have to do my conversion factor twice. The second one would cancel out the other foot. So notice, we multiplied by 12 twice. This is doing the conversion factor twice. So we could do this if we wanted to. Write out those squared units of square feet squared into feet times feet and just do the conversion factor twice to cancel out both of them. So it'll give us the 630. And of course, inches times inches makes that square inches. But it would be a lot nicer, a lot neater if we could do it with just a single conversion factor. So let's take a look at what 1 square foot really means. It is a square that is 1 foot by 1 foot. Well, we know that 1 foot is 12 inches. So that's 12 inches by 12 inches. It has an area of 12 inches times 12 inches. 12 times 12 is 144. Inches times inches is square inches. 1 square foot equals 144 square inches. Now, if we look up here, you realize all that was 12 inches times 12 inches. 12 times 12. It's our linear or length conversion factor squared. 12 inches in a foot, well, there's 12 squared or 144 square inches in a square foot. So we can use that then to make whatever conversions we want to. I have 3,456 square inches. I want to turn that into square feet. 3,456 sounds like a lot of square inches, but when we do the conversion, square inches are going to be on bottom to cancel out, square feet on top, and we found that 1 square foot is 144 square inches. Square inches cancel out. 3,456 times 1 square foot is 3,456 square feet. Over 1 times 144 is 144. We divide that out. 3,456 square feet divided by 144 is only 24 square feet. So what if I want to deal with square yards going into square feet? Well, a square yard again is 1 yard by 1 yard. But we know a yard is 3 feet, so this is actually 3 feet by 3 feet. Well, that gives us an area of 3 feet times 3 feet, otherwise known as 9 square feet. 1 square yard is equivalent to 9 square feet. Again, this makes sense. 1 yard is 3 feet, so squared is 3 by 3 or 9 square feet. Go back over to here to do this conversion. 5 square yards, 5 square yards over 1. We'll put square yards on bottom and square feet on top. The larger unit is a square yard, so that's where the 1 goes with the larger unit. And we said 1 square yard is 9 square feet. The square yards cancel out. 5 times 9 square feet is 45 square feet. And on bottom, 1 times 1 is 1. So dividing by 1, that's just going to stay 45 square feet. Now, typically, in my career, I've had to go the opposite direction. I used to do a lot of concrete work. Flooring is done the same way. They figured out by square yards. Actually, concrete work is cubic yards, but you go to square yards first. So if we have something like 324 square feet coming back into square yards. We'll do 324 square feet. And we're going to put square feet on bottom so that they cancel out, going into square yards. Again, the yard is the bigger unit, so we're going to put the 1 there. 1 square yard is 9 square feet. 3 feet in a yard, so 3 times 3, or 3 squared, is 9 square feet. Square feet cancel out. 324 times 1 yard is 324 square yards. 1 times 9 is 9, and we divide that out. We get, what is that, 36? It is 36 square yards. Now, when we talk about areas, we bring in a new unit, and that new unit is an acre. An acre, 1 acre, is equal to 43,560 square feet. Now, that unit does not seem to make a whole lot of sense at first glance. But there was a unit that we mentioned a couple of classes ago that we said isn't used much anymore other than land surveying, and that is a chain. Well, a chain was 4 rods. Well, that doesn't tell us a whole lot. A rod was 16.5 feet, so 4 times that is 66 feet. 1 chain is 66 feet. If I do 66 squared, I get 4,356. 1 square chain is 4,356 square feet. An acre is just 10 square chains. That's where that unit came from. When we look at dividing up land, most land is sectioned off in square mile increments, 1 square mile. Well, you've heard the term of a 40 or an 80. Where that comes from is if you divide a square mile into 4 sections in each direction, in other words, 16 total sections, one of those sections is 40 acres. So 40 acres is a quarter mile by a quarter mile. Or 440 yards by 440 yards. Okay, so get back here. If I have a section of land, let's say it's a city lot, a large city lot. Let's say it's 120 feet by 180 feet. Of course, that area, 180 feet by 120 feet, 21,600 square feet. That's actually a pretty large lot for a city lot. If I want to convert that into acres, same conversion as we've been doing. We're going to put square feet on bottom to get rid of them. Acres on top. 1 acre is 43,560 square feet. So the square feet cancel out. We've got 21,600 acres on top divided by the 43,560. So obviously this is going to give us a fraction of an acre. Well, 0.49, almost exactly half an acre. 0.496 is what it'll round to. Well, what if it is a volume? A volume is made up of 3 lengths. We saw this at the end of Unit 1. Let's see if this is 15 inches by 8 inches by 5 inches. That volume was found by multiplying those 3 lengths. 15 inches by 8 inches by 5 inches. Well, 15 times 8 is 120 times 5 is 600 cubic inches. The key there is the cubic. It is 3 lengths, 3 directions. An area was 2 lengths or 2 directions. So if I go to convert something that is 4 cubic feet, and I want to turn it into cubic inches, well, I'll put my 4 cubic feet over 1. I need a conversion factor here. Well, cubic foot is 1 foot by 1 foot by 1 foot, which of course is 12 inches by 12 inches by 12 inches. Well, 12 inches times 12 inches times 12 inches is 1,728 cubic inches. 1 cubic foot is 1,728 cubic inches. 12 by 12 by 12. It gets large in a hurry. I'll put cubic feet on bottom here so it cancels out. 1 cubic foot, 1,728 cubic inches. So the cubic feet cancel out. 4 times 1728 is 6,912 cubic inches. 1 times 1 is 1, so this is 6,912 cubic inches. So that gets large in a hurry. The one that I've done a ton of in my life is this one. We looked at square feet before, but what if it's cubic feet and I want to go to cubic yards? Well, a cubic yard is a block that is 1 yard by 1 yard by 1 yard. Well, a yard is 3 feet, so that's 3 feet by 3 feet by 3 feet. 3 feet times 3 feet times 3 feet, 27 cubic feet. 1 cubic yard is 27 cubic feet. So I take my 324 cubic feet, I put it over 1. Cubic feet will go on bottom, so they cancel out. I'm going to cubic yards. Cubic yard is the bigger unit, so I put my 1 there. And we said 1 cubic yard is 27 cubic feet. So my cubic feet cancel out. 324 times 1 cubic yard is 324 cubic yards. 1 times 27 is 27. We divide that out. I believe we get 12 cubic yards. 12 yards cubed is our result. So 324 cubic feet is 12 cubic yards. We will talk about capacities and the conversions between volumes and capacities later. For now, let's take a look at our metric units. In the metric system, we have only one unit of length. That's the meter. But we had those prefixes to make it smaller. Decimeter, centimeter, millimeter, decameter, hectometer, kilometer. And when we went to do conversions, if I had 4.2 meters and I wanted to convert to centimeters, well, I just looked at my chart. From meters to centimeters is 2 spots to the right. I take my decimal point, I move it 2 spots to the right, and I add the 0 to fill in the spot. 420 centimeters. But what if it wasn't 4.2 meters? What if it was 4.2 square meters going into centimeters squared? Well, the reason we were able to just move the decimal point up here, try that again. The reason we were able to just move the decimal point up here was because each spot on the chart here is multiplying or dividing by 10. And when you multiply or divide by 10, it just moves the decimal point 1 spot in the correct direction. Well, if it's square meters or square centimeters, now every spot on that chart is not 10 anymore. It's 10 squared, which is 100. And when you multiply or divide by 100, you move the decimal point 2 spots. So 2 places on the chart becomes 2 times 2 is 4 decimal places. So my decimal point has to go 1, 2, 3, 4, adding zeros for that. That is 42,000 centimeters squared. What if it was meters cubed going into centimeters cubed? Well, now every spot on the chart is not 10 multiplying or dividing by 10, multiplying or dividing by 10 cubed, which is 1,000. So when we multiply or divide by 1,000, we move the decimal point 3 spots in the appropriate direction. So now 2 spots on the chart becomes 2 times 3, or 6 decimal places. So we have to move the decimal point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got to add the zeros in, get the 6 decimal places. That is 4,200,000 cubic centimeters. That sounds like a ton of cubic centimeters. 4.2 cubic meters is actually a relatively large unit, but it doesn't sound like that big. It's 2 meters by 2 meters by a meter, basically. 4 million cubic centimeters sounds like a huge number. But again, when you're dealing with the volumes, it adds up quickly. We might have something like 73,000 millimeters squared. Oops, not meters squared, millimeters squared. Going into centimeters squared. Well, from millimeters to centimeters is 1 spot to the left. But since this is squared, each spot on the chart is 2 decimal places. So we got to go 1, 2. That's 730 centimeters squared. We might have 5,600 millimeters cubed going to centimeters cubed. Well, again, millimeters to centimeters is still 1 spot to the left on the chart, but since it's cubed, each spot in the chart is 3 decimal places. So our decimal point has to go 3 spots. 1, 2, 3. 5.6 cubic centimeters. We might have 0.00092 Millimeters cubed going to meters cubed. From millimeters to meters is 3 spots to the left on the chart. But since it's cubed, each spot is 3 decimal places. The 3 spots on the chart is 3 times 3 or 9 decimal places. I did that backwards, by the way. Let me change that. That should be from meters cubed to millimeters cubed. It'll make a lot more sense. So from meters to millimeters, it's still 3 spots, but we're going to the right, not to the left. So that 3 spots, since it's cubed, turns into 9 decimal places. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got to add a 0. 7, 8, 9. We had 3 more zeros. That's 920,000 millimeters cubed. That's from 0.00092 meters cubed. That number gets large in a hurry. So the moral of the story is that we have to be very, very careful when we are converting measurements to make sure we watch to see, is that a linear conversion? Is it an area or is it a volume? We might have something like 108 inches into feet. Well, that's simply going to be the 108 inches over 1, 12 inches in a foot, because that's length. 108 feet over 12, giving us 9 feet. But we might also have 1,728 cubic inches going into cubic feet. Well, for cubic inches, the conversion is not 12 anymore. It's 12 by 12 by 12, 1,728. So the cubic inches cancel out. That's 1,728 times 1 cubic foot is 1,728 cubic feet. 1 times 1728 is 1728. So we divide that out. That's just 1 cubic foot. You have to be very aware of our units as you do these conversions. Make sure you adjust if it's cubic units or squared units or whatever. I've been shorting you guys on work time at the end here, so I'm going to give you a little bit more today. In that packet from last Wednesday, it is page 237, 25 through 42, and page 265, 23 through 40. So that's your homework. That's all we have for new material today. You guys can have the last 17 minutes here to work if you would like. I'll be on the network to answer questions.